Everyone, and welcome to IELTS Hanoi. I'm sorry, IELTS Hanoi Live. My name is Patrick O'Grady, and today I think I've got an excellent lesson for you. We're going to be looking at the IELTS test and looking very closely at 5 different strategies in doing the reading test. I think there's a lot of great information here, and if you're interested in something like that, stick around because I think we can help you. Maybe you don't know who I am. Let me take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Patrick O'Grady, and I've been teaching English a long time. I taught English in Korea for 3 years. I taught English in Saudi Arabia for 5 years, and I've been teaching here in Vietnam for the past 10 years. About 10 years ago, my wife and I started up this company, English Hanoi, and we help adults improve their English so they can get a better job, get more money. Maybe you want to study overseas, we can help you with that. So IELTS, maybe you don't know what IELTS is, let me introduce you to that. IELTS is the International English Language Testing System. And it tests you on 4 different skills. It tests you on your listening, your reading, your writing, and your speaking. And today, as I said before, we're going to be looking at reading. We're going to be looking at 5 different strategies to improve your reading. And I don't know if...
Hello everyone.
Hello, Lanang. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you had some time today, but I appreciate you coming over and helping out.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love IELTS.
Good.
So, I hope to join. Xin chào tất cả các bạn. Mình là Lan Anh đến từ IELTS Hà Nội. Và hôm nay thì mình với thầy Patrick sẽ cùng chúng ta thảo luận xem là làm thế nào để được một bài IELTS Reading Band 8 và bạn phải có những cái chiến thuật gì để cho bài reading này. So are you ready?
Yay! Ready! We are doing awesome. We've got a whole 11 people checking this out right now. It's fantastic.
Oh, can I read some comments? Maybe.
Sure.
It's I.
Okay.
I just. No need to that far. I just need to see some comment.
Sure.
So.
Well, we've got hi teachers from Nam, so that's a good first comment.
If you are ready, comment ready, then we're gonna start.
Right.
So, the biggest problems when you talk to your student in IELTS reading, what is that?
Well, fundamentally, the biggest problem with people going for their IELTS in reading is their time management. They don't really space out their time very well. So it's a tough one. So that's a big thing we're going to be talking about today.
Okay. Như thầy vừa chia sẻ thì một trong những cái thử thách lớn nhất của việc làm bài IELTS reading đấy là gì ạ? Quản lý về thời gian, time management, đúng không nào? For my experience, when I talk to my student, and I figured it out that the main reason they feel IELTS reading is huge and big is they never read. I mean, it's like thinking about reading Vietnamese.
Sure.
I don't think I spend 1 hour every day reading a Vietnamese paragraph.
Well, you probably do online. You probably do a lot of reading online.
Like an essay or passages? Maybe the amount of time, yes. But with English, no. That's why you feel frustrated.
Sure. And that's a big thing we have to work on is just practicing, getting some practice in. And we're going to give some tips and tricks on how to do it. And I think we should get going. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we've got a whole 40 people watching. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I do appreciate it. We're here at IELTS Hanoi, and we're going to teach you a lesson on reading, give some good strategies for reading. So, what is our first problem, Lenny?
Vấn đề đầu tiên, first strategy. Okay. I think the first problems as you mentioned is time management.
Right. Should we show them?
Yeah.
Ding ding. Time management, as we were saying earlier. You gotta time out your how you're going to do this. So here's my question for you. How many parts are there in the reading? How many parts are there in the reading?
Bạn biết đến IELTS so far thì có bao nhiêu đoạn văn ở trong cái phần IELTS reading?
Right.
Theo bạn thì nếu bạn đã đọc về IELTS rồi thì bạn có thể cho thầy biết được là bạn ở trong đoạn thi IELTS thì có bao nhiêu?
So,
okay.
Right. So how many parts are there in the reading, and how long is it? So we have to know two things. So for time management, we got to think about that. So,
vậy thì có bao nhiêu đoạn và bạn có bao nhiêu thời gian để làm? Bởi vì khi mà nhắc đến quản lý thời gian thì chúng ta cần phải biết là chúng ta có bao nhiêu đoạn văn và làm bao nhiêu đoạn.
Right. So Nan already got it. 3 passages. Excellent. Pull back the enemies. Nan got it. He's already three passages. So that's really great. And how long is it? Do you know?
Yeah, so 20 minutes for each classes. Tricky there.
20 minutes each. Right.
So we got 60 minutes.
60 minutes. So we got to plan that out. We got to work on our time management. So let's take a look. What is our first strategy, Lana? What are we looking at?
I think in my own experience, I'm going to there are a lot of tips and tricks.
Right.
So strategy number 1.
Strategy number 1.
Chiến lược đầu tiên. For me, when I normally people say like scream and skim and scan, but actually a lot of my student doesn't actually understand it. Like, okay, this is what it is, but how to apply in each question and different type of tasks is the whole different deal. So strategy number 1, I will use skimming to read all the questions.
Right, we're going to skim the questions very fast. So there are about 10 questions. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right. So how much time are you going to take to skim that?
So we have past this one. We have 20 minutes. Then I use only 30 seconds to 60 seconds to read the questions.
High five! You got it. The answer is 30 to 60 seconds skimming strategy. So you're going to...
Second, not minutes.
Did I say?
Oh, so you answer the whole...
Right. So you're going to read the questions very fast. Are you going to understand all of the words? No. You're not going to understand all the words. You're going to go through it really fast and get the general idea for this. All right?
And when I do skimming, I normally figure it out. I try to clarify on the type of the questions. So I make notes. I make note of type of question true for not given, or the author view, or maybe just fill in the blank, looking for specific information. So I figured it out, like what type is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've scanned it very quickly, and then we are going to make a few notes as to the types of questions.
Yeah.
All right.
So first, I'm going to skim the questions.
Okay.
Forget about the paragraph.
Forget about the reading.
Yeah.
The passage.
The passage.
Okay. And then we're going to read it very quickly, 30, 60 seconds.
Yes.
And then we're going to make some notes.
Yeah. We're going to make some note of types of the question. So we try to understand, like, what do they want? What information do they want?
Right.
The author view, or the true false
True or false?
or fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank.
Looking for specific information.
Right.
So that I think that's what I normally do.
Right.
Anything you add on to the strategy number 1? So normally you instruct your student.
Well, for sure. Sometimes when you look at a question, you almost know the answer before you've read the passage. And maybe we could make a little note that I think that's going to be true. Other times, when you look at a question and you spent a long time reading and you're still not sure. My point is, some of the questions are easier than others. Answer the easy ones first.
Okay.
Answer the easy ones first, because it's really some of the questions are more difficult, and you're just scratching your head. Okay, tick, tick, tick. We'll get these easy ones first. Right.
Oh, I do that too.
That's because you're very smart.
I do that too.
Super smart.
Sometimes normally I forgot about the author view type questions, and I move on to the easier one, like what I understand. So I do that first. With that way, I think got more question answer than don't apply it.
Right.
So.
So and remember our big thing here. Where is the word? Remember our big thing we're talking about today is time management. Time management. So think about what you're doing, and it's also really super important to get your phone and time yourself out. Time yourself out. A lot of you think you know how long 60 seconds is, but you don't. You haven't really timed yourself out, and it's a good thing to work on a few times. So excellent. That is strategy number 1.
Yes.
Strategy number 1. Can we move on to strategy number 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So strategy number 2 is
strategy 2. Strategy 2.
Yep. Yeah. So now go back to, now we understand the question already.
Right.
So I will focus on the first and the last sentences of a paragraph.
Okay, good. So we in strategy 1 we read the questions, and now we're going to start reading the passage. The passage. All right. And you want to read.
And the tips I use is read the first and the last sentences.
Read the first sentence of each paragraph and the last sentence of each paragraph. Why?
As you remember when we study writing, normally we put the topic sentence in either at the beginning of the paragraph or the end of the paragraph.
I see.
So I try to understand the main topics here of each paragraph.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so this is strategy 2, and what are we saying here? Topic sentence.
Yeah, the topic sentence.
Right.
Yes.
The topic sentence is what we're looking for. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So try to understand it by read quickly the first and the last sentences.
The first and last are the topic sentence we're looking for. Excellent. Okay. What else do we have for strategy 2?
I think it's also normally I want to introduce a thesis statement. Do you think they understand?
Thesis statement.
Thesis statement.
These guys are so smart. I absolutely they understand. They could probably be here teaching us. They are so smart. That's the
all right. If Patrick speaks so fast or too fast, you can watch this live stream again.
Sure can.
Please share to your world. So at night you can go over the tips one more times. This tips is really useful for our students to the reading.
Right.
So
strategy 2, we're
Yeah.
looking at the thesis statement of the paragraph.
Yeah, the paragraph. Normally, I will instruct my student that reading the title and the subheadings, so they will understand like general what happening. But the thesis statement normally, not always, but in the first paragraph.
Right.
In the first paragraph, the last sentence of the first paragraph.
I see.
So it's same in writing, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good.
So
And first we talked about skimming. We were going to skim everything, and finally now I think we're looking for a new thing: scanning.
yeah. So the step one, within 20 minutes, we read the questions, understand the questions, type of the question, what do they want, what information, then do the easy first, difficult letters.
Right.
Step 2, we read the topic sentence, thesis statement to figure it out, the general idea. And now is the time to remember what they asked.
Right.
So try to underline and scan the golden word. That means the key words.
The golden key words.
Yes.
Scan for the key words. Good. So very quickly, we're thinking about the questions, and we're going to be underlining any keywords that might help us answer these questions. Okay? So scan for keywords and just underline.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Strategy 1, strategy 2. How many strategies today, Lennon?
4 or 5 tips, 4 or 5 strategies.
4 or 5 strategies?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. Strategy 3.
Yes. So what about strategy number 3? Yes. So, as I mentioned to you that strategy number 3 is normally my student often spend too much time for one questions or too much time for one passage.
Right.
Yes.
Right. This is kind of a fun thing. We're going to be looking at speed and how to improve our reading speed. And as I said before, it's really good to time yourself out. And what I would recommend doing is while you're practicing your speed reading, is to take a pen, take a pencil, and just follow along so you don't lose your place. All right. Time yourself out and make sure you're able to try to finish your paragraph or your passage in a reasonable amount of time, and just zip through it as quickly as you can. Okay?
Yeah. So and also one more tip that is really useful with my student is that they write down the keyword, the content word next to the paragraph. So take note some summaries, make some summaries for the paragraph. Quickly note down.
Right.
Yes.
Good. So we're still working on strategy 3.
Yep.
And where are we going here? Practice. Oh. Sorry. Practice.
Yeah.
Practice is the thing we're first going to talk about. And we're going to be, what I was saying is, use that pen and read along. What's a good way to practice? The best way to practice is to choose a subject that you find interesting. Okay? So, for example, maybe you like cooking. Then read everything you can about cooking. Time yourself out and go through it quickly. Maybe you enjoy fashion. Maybe you enjoy sport. I don't care, but it's super important to practice, okay? And the more practice you get, the better. 15, 20, 30 minutes every day, excellent. What's our next bit?
I think to how do I say to increase your speed of reading, other than using your pen or pencil, go over with the word so you don't lose your track.
Right.
You also can think about how do I say the third paragraph is also the most difficult one.
Okay.
So I do think that people should focus on the easier one first, like passage 1 and passage 2.
Sorry, the third passage is the most. Okay.
Passage.
That's true. As we go through the test, you'll notice that the first passage is the easiest, the second is a little more difficult, and the third is the most. So hopefully you can finish the first passage in about 15 minutes, maybe faster, and because you're probably going to need to spend more time in the third passage.
Yeah. So I think that is the strategy number 3, and yes, strategy number 4. Strategy number 4 is very important.
It sure is. All of these are super important, Lenny. Don't kid yourself. All of these strategies are important. You need them all.
Yeah, because in the end, you need your high score.
Right.
You need to do. You got the correct one. Answer correctly as many as questions as you can. Okay. So tip number 4, strategy number 4 for me is focus on the easier one. Do the easier first.
Right.
Like same with when you read the questions, clarify type of the questions. So in among 3 of the passages, as I mentioned that we got 1, 2, 3. Normally, the third one is considered as the most difficult one.
Right.
So normally I suggest my student that focus on number 1 and number 2.
Right. So
then move on to number 3.
Easy one first, man. Easy one first. Absolutely.
Now,
yes.
Let's mention about the easy one between passage 1 and passage 2. Okay. So, which one we're gonna go with first?
I'm always do first things first. Number 1, do first. I think so.
But sometimes I instruct my student that the title and the topic that they are more familiar with, then go first. It doesn't matter, come 1 or 2, but if they are, for example, they are teachers like you, or they are a doctor, they might read, they might find the topics involved related to drug or chemical, like familiar topics.
Sure. If you get lucky and they happen to have a subject that you are familiar with, then absolutely do that one first. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because more questions are answered correctly, more marks you're going to get, right?
Yeah, that's something we think we need to tell these guys. It's very important that you give an answer for all the questions. Even if you're not sure, give an answer. You will not lose marks if you give a wrong answer.
Yes.
I'll say that again, you will not lose marks if you make a wrong answer.
Yep, so that is my tips number 4. So what about tip number 5?
Tip number 5, strategy number 5.
Yeah.
Bam bam. I don't know, what do we got for tip strategy number 5?
Oh, I think you need to time yourself. That's strategy number 5. So when you practice,
right,
and you do that with the clock, or
Right. I think I've said this a couple times, but for sure you want to use your clock often. And so let's put this down. Practice with your clock. All right. Practice with a watch. It's super important. As I said, a lot of people think they know how long 1 minute is, 5 minutes, or 20 minutes, but it's you're surprised. It's quite easy to make a mistake, and make sure you time yourself out. It's really important. Yeah. Cool. How are we doing?
I think we're okay. I think we can close it up.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Those are 5 different strategies to help you improve your scores on the IELTS.
Cảm ơn các bạn rất là nhiều đã dành thời gian để xem livestream về tips reading. Hy vọng rằng là những cái tips này sẽ giúp các bạn làm bài IELTS một cách tốt hơn. Và nếu các bạn quan tâm đến khóa học IELTS thì có thể đăng ký theo link mà mình đến test với thầy Patrick, đăng ký theo link mà mình để ở trong livestream này nhé. Hope you going to have a great day and goodbye for now. Bye bye.
Thank you, Lene. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. I do appreciate it. If you like what you saw, please share it. If you're watching this on YouTube, that would be fantastic if you were to hit the subscribe button. If you're interested in studying IELTS, give us a phone call. We're here to help. Have a great day. Bye-bye.